Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Barb Meets World, and we're here to discuss the Real Housewives of Atlanta's season 16, episode 2, Hot Dogs and Hot Mics. Okay, before we get into it, y'all already know I need you to do a few things, which include liking the video, because liking the video helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm. It helps me attract new subscribers such as yourself. Also, while you're at it, if you are not a current subscriber, go on ahead, hit the subscription button, become a Barb's Babe. I would love to have you. Also, comment in the comment section below. I would love to know your thoughts and your opinions on my commentary as well as the episode. Also, make sure your notification bell is on so you know every time I make an upload like this one, or live like this one, I should say. And also share me with all of your folks, okay? Yes, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all of the things. And let's get into it. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Okay. Had to move my... This is what happens when I change things around. Okay, we're good. Okay, y'all. And don't forget also to follow me on all of my social medias because they're scrolling on the bottom. Okay, see? One hand washes the other. Y'all already know. So, this is episode 2, right? Okay, this is episode 2. New season, Sweet 16. How are we feeling? Are we warming up to the girls? Are we not warming up to the girls? How are we feeling? I want to know. Me, did I say this in my... I don't think so. I think I watched it after my last upload. I've been really liking Shamea and Kelli's dynamic outside the show. It seems like they're really forming a bond. Really liking them. Brit is still doing this nasally thing that I can't get with it, y'all. I can't do it. I can't do it all season. Like she gonna have to do something about it. Like she's gonna have to do something about it. Where is she? She's gonna have to do something about it. Who is... if you guys are watching on Twitter, make sure you guys also come on over here to YouTube and hit the subscribe button, please, and thank you, and the like button, and hit all the buttons if you're watching over there. But yeah, I'm not gonna say I don't like anybody just yet, but we shall see. Nonetheless, who's in the chat? Hey, my good sis California Cuties in the chat. And yes, make sure you guys are liking the video, as she says. Hey, Yvette. Love to see Yvette in the chat as well. Let's get into it. So, again. Oh. Why is this? See, when I do my notes different, when I do talk notes, sometimes it just goes left. Anyway, we pick up right where we left off in episode 1, y'all, which is with Drew and Porsha. They are about to go at it. And that's based off the fact that Shamea, she addressed the elephant that was in the room, which was by asking Drew straight up, why Dennis though? Like, why Dennis? What's going on with that? And Porsha says, Dennis did ask her to come to Drew's party. She chose not to come because she had just took her face off, from her face makeup. Yeah. She had just took her makeup off. She wasn't trying to fool with that. And then the next day she saw Drew in a photo from the party and she looked washed. AKA the look of divorce. That's what I'm like, Porsha, now okay, Porsha, okay. And then Drew brought up Dennis. So Porsha, on one hand, she's making it clear that she don't care about anything with that. She changed the subject or whatever. She don't care. But I feel as though she's giving a lot of energy towards something that she allegedly doesn't care about, / a friendship that she says is not even like that for real. It just, her reasoning just wasn't making sense to me. If it was making sense to y'all, please explain it in the comments, because I just wasn't fully grasping what she was trying to put down. And I think it's because she truly, in her mind, it's not for us to grasp. It's not for me to grasp, at least. It's not for me to understand, because I feel like Porsha's just doing, the classic Porsha thing, which is she only feels this way, and she can't truly say how she feels, because what she's feeling is gonna just make her look bad, because it's all rooted in her wanting to control the story, the narrative, whatever, wanting to use or wanting to either use Dennis as her own, a part of her own storyline, or B, keep him either close so that her, things she doesn't want exposed, or if they do fall out or something like that, like she just doesn't want him to have access to airing her out for real. I feel like it's all just rooted in those things that, again, she can't just outwardly say, because then that would make her look, crazy. So I just, because then just as much as she focuses on this whole reasoning, she then flips it and starts talking about how she says on one hand she doesn't care, you could F him, marry him, or kill him, but then on the other hand she's like, okay, and you as a brand ambassador, you were trying to set up a photo shoot for Go Naked hair, and you just have a contract to wear hair, girl. Like, what are you doing? Like, really, like, getting upset. And I don't know if y'all know, I mean, unless you're new here, obviously you probably won't know, but yeah, I do brand ambassador work for brands all the time, and I've set up photo shoots like outside of what, on my own terms and stuff like that. At the same time, are certain contracts more strict and have different requirements than others? Absolutely. So if it was just in the contract that, yeah, just wear the hair, throw up, a clip every now and then, post us on your story every now and then, you styling your hair, wearing the hair, whatever, and just tag us or whatever. A lot of them are like relaxed like that. But at the same time, I don't see it being an issue as long as, without looking at the contract or anything like that, I don't see it being an issue as long as she wasn't trying to pose as though she was the owner or anything of the company. If she was trying to pose, like, obviously as if she owned the company, then we'd be talking about something totally different. But it just got really weird and hard to follow. And at the same time, not to act like what else I feel like it was happening? I feel like Drew also was somebody who, Drew knew exactly what she was doing. And I feel like she knows exactly what buttons to push when it comes to Porsha. And I feel like a lot of that is also probably rooted in selfish reasons being she wants to also maybe deflect from what's going on underneath it all with her and her divorce and stuff like that. So she thought like, oh, instead of focusing on my divorce and everything I got going on, I'm a scoop Dennis up on and make this a part of my storyline, stuff like that. Because she is using, I don't want to say trigger words, but she's using her certain language that she's very purposeful in the language that she's using, referring to him as her angel on earth, and he's like a brother to me, and et cetera, like just really laying it on thick. I feel like with him, I feel like that's all done purposefully. But at the same time, Porsha, your reasoning is just not making any sense. And we'll get into that even more towards the end of this episode between her and Dennis. But honestly, I already know these things about Porsha. I already know that I already know that she's going to play in our faces when it comes to this whole just everything she has going on that she doesn't want to speak on for what it actually is. I fully already assessed that that's probably what the approach she was going to make coming on to this show. But I actually have a bigger bone to pick with something else that I feel like a lot of people weren't really focusing on with her and her antics of it all. I have a bigger bone to pick with her than even any of these little, I feel like, superficial things. So yes, girl, she said angel on earth. Yes, Drew doing too much and dramatic. Yeah, for sure. I think it's giving, like, two can play that game. It's giving, yeah, she definitely knows what she's doing. And she's also not fully innocent in it. And she I'll save that for when we get to that point in the episode of when she starts to kind of give her reasoning on why Dennis and all that, when she sits down with Shamea and Angela. Yeah, we'll talk about that then. But anyway, Porsha even asked to break the fourth wall, y'all, which was that was actually really funny. But for Porsha to really sit here and call somebody else a low down, dirty individual, it was like, Now, Porsha, girl, you can't be for real now. And that's the thing with Porsha. Like, I don't ever really get a lot. She gets a lot of flack, a lot of dislike and stuff like that. I'm somebody, I don't dislike Porsha. I just, because I see her and take her for who she is and stuff like that. I like the good parts of her and the bad parts of her. I'm just like, I don't even let it work me up because I already saw it coming. So I'm not even gonna like spend my time getting unnerved by it. But it's just like the fact that I feel like nobody was calling her out for that is just so crazy, because, and that's the thing, like Drew, I don't know what you were smoking, because Porsha could never, like, she would have left that room crying. She would have wanted to put her hands on me after she approached me with that, calling me low down and dirty. I would literally be on that ass so hard. She would be, like Kelli said, she would have been on the couch with us, because that's how on that ass I would have been. Because she's a very easy read. Very easy read. Last time we checked on this platform, you took off with that lady's husband and her Hennessy. Shout out to Rodney the Voice. So there's nothing that somebody could ever, like, you could never make me feel a way about how I'm moving. But again, Drew, if you gonna let her get that off in your face, then that's on you. But she could never, ever approach me like that. And on her worst day, on her best day. But anyway, and also another thing too, if Porsha had so much to say and she's like, oh, I saw the text message yet, blah, 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 blah. Why didn't we see the text messages then? I want to show us the text messages then. I want to see them. She's trying to complicate her life. Girl, you complicated your own life. Porsha. Like, that's all I can say this season is you're going to hear that a lot, because, girl, too easy. Even production told them not to read Porsha for filth yet. I don't know what it is. I think they're just going soft or something, because I would have came in ready. I would have had them ready on standby for a moment like this. But at the same time, that only tells me that Drew's doing this on purpose. Like, Drew knows what she's doing at the same time. Like, there's a reason in which she's approaching it how she is. And I feel like she's doing that because she also is trying to not, she just, like Yvette said, she's being very dramatic and, what? Oh my gosh. She's making, like when people say like, okay, when two people argue or whatever, like that's like dumb or whatever, because it's like you can't tell who's a fool. Like we both look like a fools, or y'all know what I'm trying to say. I feel like that's how Drew's approaching it, where she's trying to she's trying to do some like reverse psychology stuff and trying to make Porsha look like the one that's unhinged and stuff like that. She's antagonizing her essentially. I can't do it. Hey, Mrs. C Norm. I hope I'm saying it right. Hey, you not lying. Portland can't say nothing. Yeah. That actually made me laugh that you said Portland. I thought that was on purpose. That's funny. Yes, yeah. I don't think Porsha gonna get through the season without someone coming for her about Simon. But for my thing is the audacity for her to even think that she was going to be able to come and get through this season without that is crazy to me. She should have, like, her guard should have been all the way up to Mount Everest. That's how much she should have been anticipating them to be on, for anybody to be on her ass about stuff. Like, come on now. Has she been on Watch What Happens Live yet? Who was on last week? Shamea was on this week. Who was on during the premiere? I think I don't remember. But we gotta start, asking the right questions. Anyway, after that, y'all, though, they eat cake, they jump in the pool. Ooh, cool, whatever. Then after that, we finally kind of like get a little bit more into Angela's story and everything like that. We talk about how they kind of have like a blended family situation going on. Charles is the domestic one. He likes to cook and doing the cooking and the cleaning and all of those things, which I ain't got no qualms about that at all. He has a son. She has a 24-year-old daughter who we saw. She also has an 11-year-old son, and then they have a 7-year-old daughter, if I'm not mistaken. If y'all don't know, Charles Oakley is a man to speak his mind and tell it exactly how it needs to be told, apparently. So how do y'all feel about that? Y'all think, I don't know, y'all know how the ladies feel about outspoken husbands sometimes and stuff like that, and I wonder how that's gonna play into this whole setup and stuff like that. I'm like, you do know, Angela, you do know the mics is on, right? Like, I don't. So we're gonna have to see with that one. But nonetheless, the main thing that I really wanted to talk about with this little scene is about the fact, like, Angela, and because I gotta keep it even kilter across the board when it comes to how I approach these types of things. Y'all know I'm always somebody to call out, especially when we talk about like the Real Housewives of New Jersey, for instance, with like Teresa and Gia and stuff like that. Again, like, I'm not saying she was trying to be malicious or anything like that, but how Angela was talking to her daughter, whatever, and venting to her daughter about stuff in the group. I'm like, don't let that become a habit now, because like I said, I just don't like seeing the ladies be too comfortable telling their kids stuff and whatever, just because they grown or whatever, because sometimes then that complicates things, stuff like that. Again, I might be putting 20 on 10 just yet, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Just saying. Yes, love the why you take that lady's husband. Yeah, I mean, Kelli said it right there. And that's why at the same time, I was kind of like, "Ooh, girl, really?" But then I couldn't really be mad at Kelli, because it's like, yeah, you might be new on the show, but I mean, we as the viewing public, everybody, that was the question of the century for all of us. We seen it play out on TV, and then you sashayed on out the show, quit all your jobs, and thought you was riding out into the sunset with the Monopoly man, and he turned out to be, your worst living nightmare. So I had expected it to be Brit. If it's true, she's Fallon's cousin. Brit is Fallon's cousin? Oh, allegedly? Ooh. That's weird. Now you're right. She leaves the kids out of it. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't think that she was doing it to be malicious or anything like that. I was just like, of all people for you to be venting to about this or whatever, because she wasn't talking to Charles, like talking to her daughter. I'm like, and I hate to see that, like when Teresa be doing that, I can hate to see it. So anyway, just saying. Nonetheless, moving right along, y'all. Then we see Porsha and Kenya meet up. Y'all, not gonna lie, this scene made me kind of sad at the same time, because these are photos. I actually seen these photos whenever. So this was around May of last year. Yeah. I actually seen these photos on Instagram and I was like, oh my God, the girls look so good. I was just like so excited to know that they were filming and stuff like that. They was looking cute. They rolled up in their Rolls Royces. Kenya bought hers. Production had to let us know that. Whereas Porsha's was gifted by that her worst nightmare. Yeah. Anyway, I was just so excited because I'm like, this is what we're supposed to be like getting this season, but y'all know what happened. But nonetheless, the ladies looked good, looked amazing, if I do say so myself. But they just met up and it was giving very much springtime lunch vibes and aesthetics, and they sat down for a little lunch or whatever. And I don't know why, it just made me laugh so much when Kenya said that like Brooklyn be like sneaking her in her bed and stuff like that, because if y'all didn't know, I actually didn't start liking Kenya until freaking she had Brooklyn pretty much. I feel like that's kind of when I seen like a shift in her, and I really started to like her and stuff like that a lot more, and to see this other side of her. So I don't know, when she said that, it just made me laugh, and just to think like I could just the little glimpses that we've seen of her in Brooklyn and her, you know, being a mom and stuff like that. And I think like it brings me back to like one scene where I think they were like making cookies or they were doing something. And then like Brooklyn, like she started like eating it right when they were doing it. And she's like, no, you can't. It just is so cute. I feel like how like Kenya is such a like hard charger, obviously, when it comes to the other ladies, and she's very firm and strong in who she is and how she approaches everything and stuff like that. But we see this obviously like softer side to her when it comes to Brooklyn. It just, I'm like, you probably just roll over and she's probably like, oh, Brooklyn, you know, you can't be in my bed. Like it just, I don't know, just made me laugh. Anyway, her name, oh, wait, was she married? She was married before Simon, because her last name was Pena. I want to say originally, like when she first came on the Housewives or whatever, and that's obviously not Simon's last name, even though we really don't know Simon's name for real. So her maiden, oh, that's even weirder now. I'd read that months ago, but Britt hadn't confirmed it. I'm curious. She better confirm it, because I want to know. Now you intrigued me with that one. Nonetheless, so Brooklyn, Kenya and Porsha, they are having a little lunch and stuff like that. Kenya actually left before they jumped in the pool and everything. So Porsha was kind of informing her about some more stuff with that. And then, of course, Kenya mentions Drew, telling her about Dennis and the music and everything. And Porsha says, look, like my main thing is that Drew is trying to film with him. I'm not cool with that. And so again, when her and Dennis are good, they're good. But when they're not, they're not. So what, happens in the event that she doesn't want him being like filmed, then for him to just be able to use this and like compromise what they have or whatever at the moment. And I'm just like, okay, so then I feel like that was another angle layer of it. So it's like, okay, girl, like, what are you really upset? Like, what is the problem, the problem here? And you want to say again that you don't really care, that, and then you also say you're good, but you're like, also like, you could marry him or unalive him. It's just, do you care? Do you not? Do you? And if you do care, why do you care? If you don't care, then why? It's just so just weird to me, and not how two co-parents on regular terms would move in this situation, which tells me again there's more to it, and we already know based off of history that there's always more to it when it comes to Porsha and these things. So it has to do with something that she's trying to safeguard / something that she personally has to like gain from. It's compromising something that comes back to her own personal gain, is what I think. Kenny asks, how did her and Simon get to this place? And Porsha says that there was one time where she was sitting in the car and she didn't know that it was stolen. Then she also said something about how they were on a plane and then they got surrounded, the green cards and everything. And also she brought up how it's not even he hasn't been married 4 times. He's actually been married 5 times total, because there was a fake marriage completely all intertwined up in there. So again, it's giving the fact that you didn't thoroughly vet this person. You didn't thoroughly get to know this person. You thought you were turning in a cash cow, and instead you turning in what came back to being a lump of coal, a lump of burning hot, fuck up your life coal. That's what happened, I think. And what also grinds my gears about it is, and I feel like not enough people have been approaching it like this, the fact of the matter is, you also not only did, at the end of the day, if you want to just be out here just moving, as people would say, as shout outs to the diva Erica De Niro TV would say, moving like a bitch in survival mode, if that's what you want to do, then girl, have at it. If you want to be out here and be, fumbling your own shit because you're trying to live in this fantasy delusional ass world, then that is on you, mama. But the fact of the matter is, yes, mama is exactly right. You are a mother, and not only did you put yourself in this situation that you now have to dig yourself out of because you attached yourself to somebody who should have never been on your radar at all, if you want to talk about morals and all that stuff. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, you also brought this man into your child's life. She was sitting on laps and everything and stuff like that, whatever, and you didn't even really know him for real. So this kind of, honestly, y'all read the headlines every day. Some crazy shit going on in the world every single day. So knock on wood, thank God nothing crazier happened in this case with her and him and everything, because let you tell it, like, he's been hell on wheels, and it's just like to think like how that could have really threw some stuff off and fucked up Pilar's life. That's the wild part for me. Like, that's the part that I feel like not enough people are focusing on. Like, this could have went a whole different way. She's lucky. She's very lucky, actually. But I don't think that she's really, like, y'all really think she learned that how to move better? I don't know, because she's pushing 50 at this point. She's about to be like 45 or whatever. She's in her mid 40s. With time, I thought, comes wisdom, but in her case, it's like she's moving backwards. So again, I say, I don't think that she's gonna, like, I don't even think she's really fully even learned from this, because if she saw the next somebody that comes into her life and pulls the wool over her eyes, or in Simon's case, she knew he was the one when he said he read her book. And in her book, side note, has anybody read her book? When he read her book, supposedly, that's what, caused her to have a change of heart and realize, like, he's basically the one for her, because he said to her that based on the things that she's went through with other men before, like, he told her that she was safe with him. And I'm just like, you cannot be that. Like, there's absolutely no way that I believe a person could be that gullible. But yet, here we are. Just crazy. Unfortunately, giving karma, I hate to say. Yeah, I can believe that too. She thought she was keeping up with Shamea. And that's what a lot of this is rooted into. And the reason why she wanted to film so hard in that house was going so hard to want to film in the house, I should say. Shamea has the life that she thought that she was going to get, that she was cashing in on. And sorry, that's just not everybody's, fate. And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, like, it's not like she was doing bad out here by herself. But you're the person that decided to blow your life up for a fantasy that didn't even last 3 years, 2 years, whatever. I thought it was a coloring book. LOL. Princess did a live read. It was boring. That's funny. Yeah, like, girl, you can't even you can't even look in the mirror and like say all this with a straight face to yourself, but yet here we are. And then she also added in this part about seeing him with women in the house too, or whatever, which was like, yeah, I'm like, that's a new element that we haven't heard about. Interesting you threw that in there. Moving on, then we see this scene with Kelli visiting her new restaurant space with her publicist and project manager. She has her one place in McDonough. She used to have her flagship based in Conyers, but it closed due to her ex-husband. It closed due to her ex-husband, and how their marriage dissolved and everything like that, and how he did her dirty and all that stuff. But so she wants to open up this new location by July 15th. And her ex-husband hasn't paid any child support, unless the court ordered it and stuff like that. So she's really hard pressed to try to get this place open, even though her project manager is like saying, like, waving the red flag, like, we're in over our head here, pump the brakes here. It's just, So again, I like Kelli. I hope she does get the, I don't think that she wouldn't be able to get it up and running and stuff like that, but I'm just, it's okay if it needs a little bit extra time. I feel like she's thinking, like, she has these 4 daughters and she's just she seems like a go-getter and stuff like that. But even the go-getters, sometimes, you need to, it's not a race, it's a marathon, like, it's not something that needs to be, every little part needs to be done in one day or whatever. That's actually how you find yourself getting burnt out, honestly. But I'm sure she, I'm sure she got it on lock and stuff like that. That's my immediate thoughts seeing her in this scene, though. Moving on, then we head over to Brit's house with her nasal voice. She was trying to Netflix and chill with her husband and not have him on his phone. I don't know what to think of their dynamic just yet. It seems like he's over this whole thing already, or is over. I'm not going to say you don't like her or love her or nothing like that. I can't make that assessment just yet. But I will say, until I see otherwise, that he's less than amused to be doing all this extra stuff for the cameras or whatever. I was kind of trying to understand. So I don't know if they're talking about the house they're currently in, or they have another house. They're not in their forever dream home just yet. They were talking about some renovations and stuff, and how they don't want her mom to be sleeping in the bed next to them, bedroom next to them. Obviously, that makes sense. She also talks about how they got married during COVID, and because they got married during COVID, they didn't have like a full wedding or anything like that. So, and we'll get into that more when Kelli visits her and stuff, like, or when she goes to visit Kelli later on in the episode. She says that they do really want to have a baby, though. And it seems like she's another one that seems to be doing a lot all at once, which, again, I get it. On one hand, I get it. But on the other hand, it's just like, again, let's marathon, not a race, not a sprint. Y'all are sprinting right now. And they want to do IVF, so they'll have a girl. I'm like, okay. Because she doesn't have any kids, and he has a 15-year-old son. Yeah, he has a 15-year-old son. And my thing with that is, like, obviously, I mean, I know why people do IVF, and like I've heard of people doing IVF for this reason, usually when they already have like a couple, or like they only want it, like, I don't know. It kind of was like, oh, like you definitely want to do IVF right off the bat to make sure you have like just a girl right off the bat. I don't know. I just assume people were still trying it the natural way a lot of times right off the bat. I ain't got no kids, so I'm not judging. Do what you want with your body at the end of the day. But I was kind of like, oh, okay. You want to definitely do it like that to make sure that that happens right off the bat. So I guess y'all only want like one. That, I don't know. Just wondering. Her husband don't like her. See, I thought it was just me. Nonetheless, Shamea and Shadina. So Shamea brings some flowers over to Shadina, which is her surrogate. We've seen Shadina a couple times. She was also Candy's surrogate, and she was Shamea's surrogate for her youngest daughter, Shiloh. And she unfortunately had to have Shiloh at 32 weeks when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was just like, mind fucking blown. Like, that is just so crazy to me. We already knew this. I don't know if I knew this because of social media or what. I don't know. But I was just like, wow, that is just so crazy. And it's just even more crazy because it's like, I'm sure like they both felt like bad. Like Shadina felt bad, and then Shamea felt bad because she's like, did the pregnancy cause this? And then Shadina's whole thing probably was like, I wanted to make sure, like, she probably felt bad because like I wanted to, you are a surrogate for somebody with the best intentions, obviously, and seeing that fully through and stuff like that. But no one knows that, you're going to be diagnosed with something so just life-changing like that. Like, but I understand both of their feelings on it. I think that's a completely normal, reaction to have in this situation, just to be like, wow, like it's just a wild situation, no matter how you look at it. But in the end, Shadina did say, because Shamea still wants to have another child via a surrogate or whatever, because she's done 7 rounds of IVF previously, which is insane. Like, anytime I hear anybody say over 1 round is over 2 crazy to me. I think that brings me to, I think it was it Jessel on New York that did like 5, and like a couple of girls, like, have spoken about their fertility journeys and stuff like that, and doing several rounds. And several rounds means 4 shots in the morning, 4 shots in the evening, like that. Oh, the things that okay, it's just crazy. And in Shamea's case, she has 2 girl embryos and 2 boy embryos that are ready to get it done. And in the end, Shadina does say that she may know somebody who could be a good fit. So I hope it works out for Shamea. I hope everything ultimately works out for all the ladies. Everybody seems to obviously have something that some ambition they're trying to chase, and they're trying to secure and stuff like that. And overall, I do hope that everybody sees it through. And I think that was it for Shamea. Yeah. Oh, she did have an ectopic pregnancy recently too, which sounded horrific. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to digest with what everybody has going on individually. So going back to Brit and Kelli, though, Brit visits Kelli, and we learned that they had only met 1 year prior. So I'm like, okay, this makes sense, and there's been people that I have known, 1 year, 5 minutes, and we're like, Some of my closest friends at this point in my life, I've only met a year ago. A year ago this month, actually. That's funny. So, you know, I'm not going to say that I have not became super, super good friends with people that I've only known for a short amount of time, because real not recognize real, in my opinion. And, but at the same time, knowing what I know now, knowing what we know now, which is that Kelli and Brit, they kind of like had a falling out at somewhere down the line. I'm like, well, people always gonna show their true colors sometimes, especially when cameras and other elements are introduced. That's gonna, I feel like, expedite that process. So I'm still curious as to what happened between them. But obviously it's only episode 2. We don't know. But anyway, so it's just crazy. So hey Feisty. That was such a, I don't know why I made that noise. Y'all, I'm being goofy. Leave me alone. Yes. 3 years. And I mean, even, yeah. And me and my cis California cuties case, we, you know, I would say was another one of those situations where we hit it off really well first time that we met. And like, y'all see us here in front of y'all's eyes, like every other week now at this point. So I do think it could work in some cases, but in some other cases, it's like, interesting. Y'all fell out? Tell me more. Why? And it seems like also in their case too, they seem to gravitate towards one another because of like fun stuff. And I think, didn't Britt say she was like, oh, she likes to have her titties out. I like to have my titties out. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, but that it takes a lot more to a friendship than having titties out. If just saying, and that's why I think I like to see her and Shamea more so, because her and Shamea, they seem to have covered a lot more friendship tiers, friendship levels, if you will, than I see with Britt and Kelli. Just saying. And also, I feel like that was even more evident in this case. And granted, they are filming, so I do understand that sometimes production wants you to talk about certain stuff, even if you have talked about it previously off camera. But even in this segment right here, I want to say, didn't Britt ask Kelli like, oh, like what do you want to talk about as far as your divorce? Like, I don't want to press you about anything that you don't want to talk about. Like, the way I'm like, so y'all have talked about this already? Like, if y'all was friends, like, just saying. Again, I'm just trying to really gauge everybody's dynamic here, y'all. Just saying, trying to understand where everybody truly sits and lies with one another. And I feel like, honestly, it's not weird that I'm doing that, because ultimately you never really know with these ladies on these shows, because one minute you get people talking about, hey, this is my friend and we're so, you know, good Judies and et cetera, et cetera. Then next thing we know, they walk off with their husband and their Hennessy. So, you know, shout out to Rodney the Voice. Like, so you never really know if the girls are saying that they're friends because it's for real, or it's not, you know. Just saying, some friendships are kismet, so time plays no part. Exactly. And then in other cases, we have the polar opposite, where y'all, you know, y'all were turn up buddies and it should have never gone further than that, maybe. But again, we're gonna have to continue to watch and see just what happened between these two ladies. So, but as it stands right here, Britt wants to have a real wedding. Like I said before, they had got married during COVID, and she doesn't want anything huge, but less sexy ceremony. I'm like, okay, girl, whatever. They had gotten married on Zoom, and I was like, wow, like I got married in the courthouse too. I haven't had no wedding, and I was like, wow, I can only imagine. We just made that cutoff, I feel like, because had it been any later, we would have been just like Britt and her husband, who got to get married via Zoom, and then they just filed their paperwork. I was like, at least we were able to like have, you know, some people at the courthouse with us and stuff. But dang. So obviously I understand it could take the sparkle away and stuff like that. So luckily for them, though, it seems like she's going to be planning something. I wonder if we're going to get that this season or what. but she still is on this whole Kenya ring ordeal. And I don't even want to call it an ordeal, because in my opinion, it was nothing. In my opinion, Brit came in there with an agenda, just like Kelli, just like a couple of other ladies. And ultimately, I can't be too mad at them for that, because this is Real Housewives at the end of the day. But I feel like Brit's whole thing is she was looking for a reason to have an issue with Kenya. And I don't feel as though Kenya was asking those questions to be malicious, as much as it was like, well, girl, like, yeah, you only have one. Again, I don't have any of my rings on right now, so I can't physically show y'all, but y'all know, like, usually if you're married or whatever, you have your engagement ring and your wedding band. So she only had one, which was the engagement ring. So I don't think it's so far-fetched for Kenya to ask a follow-up question on whether or not is this your second marriage, or like what. The way that she spoke on that was kind of very vague. So I think that, again, Brit was just looking for reasons to come at Kenya. And I feel like I will be more solid in my take on that as the episodes go on and we really start to peel back the layers of how Brit and Kenya got to that point of revenge P, whatever that whole situation is. So I don't know. Nonetheless, then we move over to, actually, did you guys clock when Brit said, you know, when she meets girls or whatever, they think that she's like a pretty mean girl, but when we get to know her, she's sweet as ever. I'm like, I don't know. I gotta always side eye people like that still. Because, I mean, do I know a lot? I can have RBF a lot of times. I know I have, you know, people that I know that don't always look like the most approachable people and stuff like that. But when you get to know them, that's not the case. That's definitely a thing. But just knowing how just knowing the little bit that we know about the situation and stuff like that, I'm like, I'm going to have to remember that for later on. I'm going to have to remember that. Jury's still out on you, Brit. I don't know. So then we move over to Kelly's divorce, and there was cheating. He took $500,000 out of the business account while she was in Tulum. She had to file a lawsuit. She left the house because it wasn't safe, as she's mentioned before. It got physical, as she's, you know, hinted at before. Police were called multiple times. She was one of those individuals that made everything look perfect on the outside while it was low-key hell and her spending nights in her closet on the inside. But I'm just glad that she seems to be in a safe space now. I'm glad that she said her girls are fine with it and stuff like that, which I feel like is also very telling. And you know what also is very telling to me, y'all? The fact of the matter is that this man was her husband. So first thing that jumps out at me with this is clearly her old face, and the old face is actually even giving me like Kelli from 3LW a little bit. Y'all let me know. Second thing, like the way the pants are, I'm not sure why they're like that. The way that the hairline is, not sure why it's like that. Just like everything, I'm just like not sure about. But at the same time, I am sure that it makes a lot of sense now that I see this as to how he was moving and stuff like that. Okay. This is just not who I was. There's just a lot going on here for me, y'all. So I just want to make sure, you know, I threw that up there for y'all. I just wanted to make sure that I put this in the wrong thing. That y'all had seen this, because I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. I don't truly know what I was expecting when I saw, or when she spoke about her ex-husband, stuff like that. But it just wasn't exactly this. Just wasn't exactly this. But I'm glad she's in a safe space now. I wonder, did she get that $500,000 back? She said that he doesn't pay child support unless it's court ordered. The youngest 3 daughters are his and hers. So I want to know more about how that divorce, like, I want to know more. I want to know more, Kelli. Want to know more. Y'all tell Kelli I want to interview her, because I want to know more about this. And this picture is begging me to know more. For sure. Anyway. Old face was way better. I was really trying to focus on the faces this week, because I feel like so much was said last week about the faces being snatched and pulled tight, and noses manipulated and shrunken, and so much so, and stuff like that. I was really trying to pay attention this week, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I could see based on this picture now, like, there's definitely a difference. I will say that. And I guess I can't focus on the faces so much, because my main thing is always, I feel like throughout the entire season, it's going to be Brit's voice. Like, it's still, like, I don't even need to, obviously everybody, even if her voice didn't sound like that, obviously we all sound differently and stuff like that. And you can tell people's voices as you get, more familiar with them. But it's at the point, like, I literally don't need to look at the TV and I know, oh, yep, that's Brit. Like, I can't do it. Like, So that is actually what I focus on more than I even do, like, the faces. Deaf cute. Yes. I was like, oh my God. Okay. Much better. She seems to have been through a lot. Yeah, she does. And that's why I'm like, I want to know more, because I just $500,000. You're saying cops called multiple times, just a very tumultuous environment and stuff like that. And by no means am I trying to glamorize anything like that, or try to exploit anything for, dramatics or anything like that. I genuinely am, like, curious, like, what, oh my God, it just really seems like, as Yvette said, she has been through a lot. So, I'm just very glad that she's still in good enough spirits to be able to be opening up a new restaurant location. Y'all, again, if y'all in Atlanta, again, let me know. I need to go to Atlanta now. I'm really curious about these waffles. I love waffles. I really do. Anyway, nonetheless, shout outs to Kelli. So then we go over, I'm like, are we dropping it with Drew for another season? I hope we are not dropping it with Drew for another season, but we only got like one little quick workout so far. And I'm like, thank God, because I can't do it. So it's Drew, Angela, and Shamea. They got a little workout. Situation going, and Angela also was on the team of, or the side of, why Dennis? Like, why Dennis, Drew, of all people? And Drew's whole thing is, out of all of the big wigs that she's worked with in the music industry, her music has never went as far as it has gone since working with Dennis. Yeah, okay. It's in the hood. So those are the best. I definitely want to go now. So when it comes to Drew and Dennis, though, she's again talking about how he's been an advocate for her and Dennis, and Drew says she just really needs Porsha to tell her how she feels directly, instead of aggressively attacking her and accusing her based on what she's heard. This is what I mean when I say Drew is she's also playing. Because, girl, like, we Drew. Okay, girl. And Ralph is actually another one who has taken a lot of Drew's money. He still wants alimony. He wants child support. He wants all of the things. And I was like, oh, you don't say. So you know what that tells me? That tells me I feel like as though Drew has been caping for Ralph this whole time. And I say that because, and y'all let me know if I got any historians in the chat, let me know. Wasn't Ralph the same person that had mad assistants, or Drew had mad assistants, and wasn't he the one that was some tech? They had he had tech stuff going on, and he was doing all this types of business and stuff like that. I feel like we've been on the subject of Ralph and his work and stuff like that in the past. So that I'm just confused then now why he's A, still living there then, if that's the case, and B, trying to, I feel like he's just doing things, I guess, to make her life a living hell, it seems like, or whatever. But I thought you had your own stuff going on. You never know with him, but again, I feel like he or she has also been caping for him to a degree as well. And that probably has something to do with, where is Allison? There's Allison. I feel like that. See, she should just listen to Allison. She should took Allison's side and just let him go when she should have let him go, because that could have definitely probably saved her a lot of the despair and the headaches that she is dealing with now. But you live and you learn. Anyway, so Shamea, when it comes to this whole Dennis and Drew situation and everything like that, she also is somebody who doesn't really want to be too involved in it, but at the same time, that's obviously not exactly what it gave when I just realized I have my wrong background on here. Oops. That is also not what it gave when freaking Shamea was asking Porsha, or asking Drew about Dennis at her party or whatever, which is kind of where the conversation begins to go in this situation, where it's like, okay, girl, well, and I guess Angela in this case, which I'm like, girl, you didn't even say anything. And I'm also glad that she said that. Shamea said that to Angela and was like, girl, you were quieter than a church mouse when we were actually talking about it over there the other day. So it's just, crazy to me now that you have so much to say. But since we're on the subject and all, I do feel like, Angela, you were definitely cutting her off and not letting her speak and stuff. And, I just, when it comes to Shamea and stuff, I understand the question, because it's inquiring minds want to know, but it still is going to give off the approach of somebody who is trying to windmill for Porsha when Porsha doesn't windmill for you. I would have just, in that case, I would have just let her pick her own battles and stuff like that, because I just feel like if the roles were reversed, I just don't feel like she would just have your back and just be so in your defense all the time, it seems. And I feel like that just gives them, and I feel like they're not going to stop calling you her lapdog and being on your neck about this type of stuff, because again, I just feel like you continue to go harder for her than she does when it comes to you. Angela, oh yeah, she referred to Shamea as Porsha's assistant, and it was Drew actually that said in her confessional that Shamea was giving, Porsha's lapdog or whatever. And I'm just like, I can't. I would say, I don't know if I'm gonna like Angela or dislike her. I only say that because in this scene, I don't know. I didn't know exactly how to take her, and just I'm still a little throwed by the whole my husband, put some respect on my husband's name and stuff like that. I just, I don't know. I don't know how to take her just yet. Shamea ride for Porsha, right, wrong, or indifferent. Yes, and I don't see it being reciprocated. That's my issue. Angela's flip-floppy. I feel like I'm getting weird vibes from her too. My thing is Porsha ain't Dennis Keeper. Wasn't Dennis and Simon cool? I remember that too being a part of something like said at first. I haven't heard anybody say that in a while, or spark that question in a while again. But again, that just is another reason why I say, Porsha, you can't be expecting things that you don't emit yourself. It just doesn't make any sense here. But yeah, that was pretty much that scene. I don't think I have anything else really to say about a scene between them three, other than, again, they're not going to stop coming for you, Shamea, unfortunately. That's just something that you're going to have to like aggressively change your behaviors on if you don't want to like hear anymore, is how I feel about that. But the last scene, y'all, the last scene we get is with Porsha and Dennis. They were at one of those like kid play places or whatever. Those places be so germy in my opinion, but whatever. That like a kid play place, and Porsha tells him like, look, like Drew said you were her Lord Jesus Christ Savior, a child of, oh my God, you were everything to her. And then it says, yeah, you know, she's going through a divorce from my homeboy, and you've had like 16 marriages on TV. And yeah, you know, I was in pain. I was going through a lot. Like when I tell you the scream I scrumped when Dennis said 16 marriages, that actually did make me laugh a lot. And did I mention too that Drew said that they had like close to like 30 records or something like that? I was like, okay. I don't know. These, are y'all gonna listen? I'm curious. Because I guess they speak to what he's gone through with Porsha, and then also what she's dealt with. Girl, crazy. And so Dennis says that he told Drew that she should talk to Porsha. And I'm like, okay, well, so again, this is why I'm like, okay, in the beginning, when Drew said that he talked to Porsha, I wasn't too sure about that. So who talked to who for real? Because those are two different things. Completely opposite. And also in this scene too, Porsha was throwing me off because her she had like contacts in, and I feel like they made her look super crazy. So I was like looking at TV, like I was just so confused. But Porsha, you know, it all ends with her like going off fake because I'm just like, you can't be serious, girl, crying. And his whole thing is like, I didn't know how to tell you every business move I made. Like, what the hell? So you think I'm banging her? And her whole thing is she doesn't know why she can't get loyalty from people. She can never have support and stuff. And I'm just like, once again, Porsha, you're expecting things that we don't see you offering up ever, really, or whatever. Like, and again, you say you're not bothered by it. You say you don't care, this, that, and the other thing. And I also can agree that, yeah, you don't really have a say in this at the end of the day. It's for selfish reasons up under it all, y'all. It is. Shamea is trying to coin this best friend tag, and she is taking it to the bank. Hey, Joy O. Something like it. The last scene pissed me off. Porsha acting like Dennis her property. It was just very weird, but I'm about to get to the part that even more so pissed me off here, and I want to know what you guys felt about that. Obviously, Porsha wasn't taking music serious like Drew is, and that could be part of what make her mad too. Porsha, exactly, like you said, she wasn't seriously trying to do no music. She don't seriously try to do nothing except for be a hopeless romantic. She entitled in a you ain't telling no lies. You ain't telling no lies. So When like 20 minutes later then passed by and we see them in the car and she's going off on him saying like, you know, that looks crazy. You film with another housewife. Da 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 da. That looks insane. He's like, you know, we hot on the mic, right? She's like, oh yeah, you would know. You pro now at this. And she tells him, you know, do what you do, and by what you do is going to mark how this happens, how it looks for your daughter. Because he's like, you know, what would that mean or whatever. Two things. So we're in an age of, or we see so many, I feel like fathers, mothers too, you know, whoever, where they don't want to have no parts of their child's life. So this man who seems to like being an active father in his child's life, you mean to tell me that you indirectly just threatened to, you know, use the child against him, or, you know, whatever, play with that whole thing? Is that what you're telling me right now, Porsha? That you're going to interfere when it comes to him being a father to his child? Because that's what I read in between the lines. And y'all let me know if that's what you picked up, because I did. And if that's the case, I have a fucking huge disdain when it comes to stuff like that, y'all. Like, from a personal stance, I can never respect anybody that does some shit like that. Because the two things have no connection at all. No matter what y'all went through and stuff like that is totally outside, and what y'all continue to go through should be totally outside of anything that has to do with Pilar. Second thing, y'all, why was this conversation being had? Pilar had to be in the car, right? Like, she wasn't in the production van. She was in the car, obviously, right? Because they was just inside. They both in the car. That means Pilar was in the car. Why the fuck were you having this conversation when she's right there? Because this wasn't no calm conversation where nice things were being said back and forth. No, she shouldn't have been in earshot of that. That's my second thing. This was some bullshit, in my opinion, Porsha. This was bullshit. And whatever type of approach you're trying to have to this whole thing is just, I don't even care. I really don't care, because it's something, it's for selfish reasons. And instead of speaking on that, you continue to try to deflect or twist and turn and stuff like that. And I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. Y'all, if y'all want to fall for it, fall for it. I'm not. And if I was Dennis, I would get this and keep it for my own records in case I need to use it in court against your ass. Women do it all the time. Capitalize off their ex platform. She got on the show because Cordell, right? Yeah. And it's like, I feel like she didn't learn anything from that situation either. She don't want Drew being hotter than her. That's how I felt about when it came to the photo shoot stuff. She was wrong doing that in front of Pilar. Wrong as two left shoes. She want to be the main character always. And that's where it's like, I got to get off the bus with her, because again, like I said earlier on, I'm with her when she's cool and fun and everything is cute and whatever. But when we start seeing all this bullshit from her is where it's just like, girl, be better. Please be better. I don't know. It really just grinds my gears for real, y'all. I can't even lie. That last scene really just threw me, because I felt like that was so unnecessary and so self-serving, for real. I'm just looking over my notes, making sure something else I want to say before we get on out of here. I don't think so. Drew going through divorce too with kids involved. I mean, like I'm saying, Drew has her things too, and I feel like she's using this whole situation to her advantage as well. But I think that they both are going at it for the same reason, but like two different, their own individual reasons. I definitely do. Like, oh my God, I talked for over an hour. Oh my God, y'all. Wow. I guess I didn't think the episode was bad, but I wasn't like, oh my God, this was the best episode ever. So I'm actually surprised we were up here for this long. I appreciate y'all for sticking around and keeping the chat alive, definitely, and liking the video and doing all the things. I would still love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. I would give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Yeah, a 7 out of 10. 6.5 or 7, something like that, somewhere around that. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know all of the above. And also don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things. Again, shout out to everybody who was in the live chat. Shout out to everybody who's going to watch us on the replay. Make sure you follow me on my socials. They've been scrolling along the bottom. They're also in the description. They're also in the description as well of this video. And yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got, y'all. Thank you. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.